Thanks so much, Mr. Chairman. Governor, congratulations. Great to be with you again. Thanks for our time together. As you know, the federal government controls hundreds of millions of acres of land in the West. You'd like to look at this committee in our home states. And the well-being, certainly in my home state of Wyoming, depends on strong leadership at the Department of Interior. The department must work with states and local communities to manage our resources in a way that works for the people that actually live on the land. And over the last 4 years, that has been a big problem, as we've seen an administration that seemed to just be punishing the West. The will of the people who depend on the land, live on the land, take care of the land was ignored the last 4 years. So, Governor, there's a long list of things that I believe must be fixed, and I'm going to ask for your help. Number one, the Rock Springs, Wyoming, the RMP, that stands for the Resource Management Plan, as you and I know, and those who are watching will know about now. The Bureau of Land Management finalized that just last month, December 2024. They did it not even a week after the governor of Wyoming submitted his appeal to the proposed plan, but they rushed out the door with this. This final plan is going to devastate the people of Southwest Wyoming. It's going to lock up millions of acres of land that local communities in the entire state relies upon. The governor, our state legislature, the county commissioners, the local communities, all strongly oppose what the federal government is slamming down our throats. So will you commit to work with my office and the state to undo this disastrous plan?
Senator, I'm familiar, having been governor till December 15th, because we had a similar experience in North Dakota of having plans like this pushed on the state of North Dakota. So, yeah, absolutely, you can count on me working with you.
Great. In Wyoming, about 2/3 of our minerals under the land are owned by the federal government, about half of the surface land and 2/3 of the minerals under the land. That means that energy development in my state depends on cooperation from the Department of Interior. Wyoming's legislative leaders would benefit from meeting with you directly as they plan the state's energy future, and I'd like to ask you to commit to joining our Wyoming delegation as well as the Wyoming stakeholders to talk about the future.
I would enjoy that very much, and I've enjoyed the relationship I had with Governor Matt Mead and now Governor Mark Gordon, that we've been on regular communication because there's been a lot of shared challenges between Wyoming and North Dakota.
And both of those current governor and former governor speak with you with great appreciation, great admiration, and great respect. So look forward to that. Buffalo, Wyoming. Last year, the outgoing administration finalized a resource management plan for Buffalo, the Buffalo, Wyoming field office. This plan would ban new coal leasing in the Powder River Basin, which is the most energy-rich area in the country. We are America's energy breadbasket in Wyoming. This short-sighted decision is an insult to our communities and harmful for American energy security. If confirmed, would you work with me to reverse this plan?
Absolutely, and I also know that and when we talk about critical minerals, that in that Powder River coal include many of the critical minerals that we need for defense, for technology, and for the future of this country. And so, rather than this blanket approach of trying to block that type of energy development, we need to be thinking about how innovation can help us solve multiple problems at once.
I want to move now to oil and gas leases. The outgoing administration has a disgraceful record on oil and gas management. It blocked and blocked our production just about every turn. It hasn't issued leases for a lease sale held over 4 years ago, and they still haven't issued the leases. And it deferred over 600,000 acres from leasing in Wyoming that were previously cleared for oil and gas production. If confirmed, will you work to quickly issue those leases and offer additional acres for leasing?
Absolutely, and Senator, as I've stated before, North Dakota's faced the same, what I view as absolutely, there's a case in federal court, which I'm positive the ruling is going to be that the current administration, the Biden administration, did not follow the law relative to holding required lease sales.
The next area is sage grouse. Wyoming is the home to a large population of greater sage grouse and its habitat. For over 15 years, Wyoming has been at the forefront of adopting new management approaches to protect the species. Our state has led successful efforts to balance conservation with economic development. Again, the Biden administration proposed to designate over 600,000 acres in Wyoming as, quote, areas of critical environmental concern. That's going to lock up thousands of acres in Wyoming, halting production and development across the state. Would you be willing to reopen the department's greater sage grouse management?
I've been advised that the rule of decision came out this morning. I don't want to put myself into making a forward statement that would recuse, that I would have to recuse. But I would just say, for my time as chairman of Western Governors, I'm familiar with the use of designations to try to restrict energy development, even when you might have a species like the sage grouse that's neither on the endangered or the threatened list.
I'll ask one final question, and you've done quite a bit on the grizzly bear already, so let me talk about federal grazing. The Department of Interior is critical in its role for managing federal lands across the West. Almost half of the land in Wyoming, owned by the federal government, land managed under multiple use is required by law to be managed without impairment of the productivity of the land. These are public places that people from Wyoming depend on accessing for their livelihoods, agriculture, all the ranching activities, recreation, mineral development. Congress directed grazing, timber harvesting, recreation, energy, and mineral production to take place on federal lands. Will you support the multiple use mandate, the law mandates for federal land?
Absolutely, I do, Senator. And since we've talked about wildfires today, grazing reduces fuel load, timber management appropriately reduces fuel load, surface development can create roads paid for by the private sector that support our firefighters. All of the multiple use is a part of a component of a comprehensive rethinking of how we think about fire management on federal lands.
Thank you, Governor. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.